And we got our mastermind coming up again during the season, December, January, February. You, Vito, or other athletes are going to be guest coaches with us on where we'll do that together. And you did that with us last year. Talk about how important that is for a wrestler to be learning from the older guys, and not just technique, but learning from their experiences, their mindset.
You can learn a lot of technique watching and studying because everything's videoed nowadays. But when you look at a lot of successful people, let's take Jordan Burroughs, right? I mean, he's one of the greatest American wrestlers of all time. There's something different about, his training, how his effort in matches. You know what I mean? There's something outside of the wrestling that makes him really special. And obviously, he's an amazing wrestler. But I just think when you look at a really successful individual, and even if you take this outside of wrestlers in the world, they're wired a little differently. And they'll just say something about, kind of their path and how they figured out and how they were able to rise to the top in this really competitive field. For a high school kid, that's a really cool thing to hear from somebody who's really successful in the thing that you're trying to succeed in. Like, I'm always really impressed by what successful people think is average. You know what I mean? Where it's like, you have to do this. Like, duh, bare minimum. And you're like, man, that's bare minimum. As a high school kid, like, I might not even be doing the bare minimum to this guy. And hearing that, I think, can really change your perspective and kind of push you in a different direction.
Yeah, like I've heard high-level athletes saying, it's not called an extra workout, it's a mandatory workout if you want to be great. And it just makes you think, like, oh, wow, yeah, that's right. So they're not looking at it as necessarily just extra workouts, even though we all understand what that means, like doing something on top of the practice. But little things like that could go a long way.